So the problem First John was having was people were changing the gospel. They were saying that Jesus did not have a body, or if he did have a body, he left it and went back to heaven. So he wasn't really dying on the cross because he already left that body and went to heaven. Others, it's called docetism. They'll say Jesus walked the earth. It only seemed like he had a body. And then you see 2 Timothy 2, I believe it is, and 1 Corinthians 15, where it says there is no resurrection of the body, or the resurrection's already passed. Because what was happening is people had to, they were excusing themselves to sin, saying it's okay to sin. But what they found that they had to do was they had to separate Jesus from his body to continue excusing themselves to sin. Because after all, and this is what I talked about last week, if Jesus had a body and walked sin-free in his body, and then now you and I having that same life in our spirit, we should walk sin-free in our body. You know, Jesus was tempted every which way, but without sin. Jesus, being born of Mary, had a body capable of sinning, just like yours and my body is capable of sinning. So we should be walking through this life sin-free. But what happens is when you understand the freedom you have in Christ, that sin does not separate you from God, because the covenant is the Father made with the Son. That covenant that is fulfilled is our spiritual life. So sin cannot send us to hell, because the covenant in that sense is not made with us. It's out of our hands. It's in the hands of Jesus, who's always making intercession for us. You know, and you may say that, okay, well, that sounds a lot like, you know, what I receive in church through the radical grace message. And the radical grace message is half right. You know, that's what makes it so dangerous. But where the radical grace message goes off is, though they may understand that sin does not send you to hell, they then use that as an excuse to sin. And it's excusing yourself to sin that sends you to hell. Because when you excuse yourself to sin, what you are in fact saying is, God, you're a liar. Your word says you sent Jesus to do away with sin, but yet here I am actively sinning and I still have a relationship with you. So you are a liar. So even if you don't say this with your mouth, you're saying it with your actions. That's Titus 1:16. They profess that they know God, but in their works they deny him.